Hi friends, welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny and we live and garden here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. Today I thought I would share with you how I finally got around to cleaning up my tiered garden beds that we have here in our backyard. They spent most of the winter looking quite the mess, but now they're looking a lot better. Come with me and let's go through the beds and see what they looked like before and what they look like now. Now, the vegetable bed was my inspiration to get out and get this going because it looked awful when I started. I had, insect protection cloth that I had originally put out that then fell down and spent the winter just looking terrible. I had plants from last fall. Actually, I had plants from last summer that needed to be taken out. And just in general, it needed to be tidied up and get ready for spring planting. So here is what I did. These are cabbages, kales, some cauliflower plants. I had bought all these starts at the garden center in the fall, and I had the best intentions of keeping them covered all winter. But I noticed soon after I planted them that they actually were being eaten from inside the covers. So I kind of let them go and didn't do much to care for them. I still have peas and green bean vines on my trellises here. I still have the big tall 8-foot stakes with my Brandywine tomatoes on them. In this garden bed I've got zinnia flowers, straw flowers, other sorts of cut flower plants, stalks, painted lady pole beans hanging there. Those seed pods I might actually harvest and see if I can use them to grow more of that variety of really beautiful beans. But I still have tomato vines on the trellises. And down on the third one, again, 3 tomato vines mixed in with some cathedral bell vines. I hadn't gotten those taken down yet. And then in the garden bed itself, it's got leaves on it, but I need to clean up and just care for the plants there. So real quick, I grabbed all those beans that were hanging there, and then I began cleaning up the vegetable bed, taking off the insect covers and taking out all of the supports and getting them ready to store. I will be using those over the coming summer again, but I just wanted them to be neat. And now taking down the vines off of the trellises, taking out those 8-foot poles, just in general, putting things away that should have been put away some time ago. Now in the fall, when we were doing our fall leaf cleanup, I asked my husband to mow over the leaves with the lawnmower to chop them up a little bit, and then cover up the garden beds with leaves to use as a mulch. And hopefully they would break down a little bit, but also hopefully they would cover the soil and keep the soil healthy. But he didn't put any on the vegetable bed because they were covered with insect netting. So those leaves that were on the vegetable bed that I just cleaned up, those were whole leaves that were not chopped up in any sort of way. So that's why I took those off of there, but I will be putting some more chopped leaves on top. So now I'm looking at the plants that are still there and determining, are any of them salvageable? I did plant some radishes from seed last fall, and so here I am pulling out all those radish plants. Some of them might be edible, but most of them not. And here's me trying to show you my broccoli plants and how much I was able to harvest off of those, but yeah, anyway, maybe 2 bites worth. So I harvested as much broccoli head as I could, but it wasn't much. And then I took out those broccoli plants and just more cleanup. I like using my leaf blower to clean up the stone edges. It makes it look really nice. Also clear off those pathways there. So what do I have left? On the left here, there's some arugula, and they were outside the netting all winter long. And nothing has bothered them, so I don't think rabbits like to eat arugula. So I did taste some of these leaves. They are good. So yay, hooray, we'll be able to use these arugula plants as salads, and I'm hopeful that they'll continue to put out new leaves as the spring weather warms up. I believe this is a foxglove that somehow landed a seed there, and so I'm just going to let it bloom there. I don't know what kind it is. It could be one of the Camelot, or maybe not. I don't know. An empty section of garden over here, but these are red cabbages, and the leaves on them have been eaten from below. Those are either slug damage or earwigs. Those are the 2 pests I have in this garden. So I'm going to probably just clean up all of those damaged leaves off of the bottom and leave them to grow. I'm going to not cover them right now because cabbage moths are not a problem, but as soon as I see my first cabbage moth, I'll cover these up with insect netting But for now, I think I'll just take the damaged leaves off the bottom, and then I am going to bait with some Sluggo Plus to keep the slugs and earwigs off of them. I have 4 of these plants in the garden, and I'm hoping at least one of them will give me a head of cabbage. Over here in front of the trellises, there's a lot of wild onions there, which I do not use for edible purposes, but I could, I suppose. And then on this side, there are some kale plants. Now, I bought 8 kale plants. Some of them didn't make it, but boy, this one looks great. So yeah, there's a little bit of insect chewing damage on some of them, but I'm hoping that if I keep these growing that they'll actually produce for me this spring. So they've put out some new growth in the last couple of weeks, it looks like, and I'm hoping that they will have survived. I do have a tulip or 2 coming up through here. I thought I got them all out last spring, but apparently I missed a couple. Hannah's helping me. She's so helpful in the garden. And then around this way, this is a patch of baby leaf lettuce, and it survived the winter as well. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep these going as well. It doesn't look like they got too much damage from insects, and the rabbits haven't found it yet, although this was under the netting. So I think I will end up putting a cloche over these to see if I can keep rabbits off. And here are all the supports and other pieces of things I took out. And these are the radishes that I harvested. Some of them down in there might be good to eat, but a lot of them probably aren't. And then I have just a little bit of broccoli that I can take in, wash off, and maybe throw over a salad or steam it. It's enough for one person's portion, maybe 1.5. And then these are the Painted Lady pole bean pods that I pulled off of the vines. Happy to have those. It feels so good to have this vegetable bed cleaned up. Oh my gosh, it looks so much better. I do have some drip irrigation in here. I need to add more. I'll be putting peas, shelling peas and snap peas on the pea trellis over here in just a couple of days, actually. Valentine's Day is when those go up in my area. The drip irrigation worked really well last year, so I'm happy to have that. There are a couple of sections of the garden that doesn't have it yet. But it'll be easy enough to pop in some 1/4-inch drip tubing into that center line black tube that is the supply line for the garden bed. That black supply line comes from the flower bed line. It comes across the lawn. It's just notched down into the soil just below the soil level. It's not really buried. The lawnmower doesn't get it. But it supplies not only this top bed, but a line goes down to the other bottom tier beds as well. Okay, now that I have the soil uncovered, I can lay down my Sluggo Plus. This is a spinosad product and also iron phosphate. Those are the 2 active ingredients in this product. It is safe for pets as long as they are pets that, like, I don't know, aren't wild and crazy. My dogs sniff around in the garden, but they never dig and they never eat anything. So you have to know your own pets in order to use this. The warning label on this says keep it out of your eyes is the main thing. It doesn't talk about ingesting it. So hopefully ingesting it won't hurt anybody, human or pet. I just sprinkle a nice generous portion down onto the soil around the plants that I'm trying to protect. And then what happens is that acts as a bait for both slugs and earwigs, also some other things too. But in general, the slugs and earwigs eat it and that kills them, but it is not harming the soil. Spinosad and iron phosphate are both naturally occurring materials. They're just concentrated in this product, so it's considered organic if you're worried about that. All right, well now it's time to tackle the 2nd and 3rd tier of the gardens. And apparently I never took any footage of me cleaning up the 2nd tier, but it operated just about the same way as this one. So I'm cutting back perennials. I'm taking down tomato vines, taking down cathedral bell vines off of the trellises, cutting back on my irises. I'm trying to uncover the leaves off of the base of the irises because they don't like to be buried too deeply. And then I'm just spreading out this really generous portion of chopped leaves that are on this entire bed, helping retain moisture and cover the soil for the winter. And there was such a deep coverage of those chopped leaves on the 2 lower beds that I'm able to grab some of it off of there and use those chopped up leaves to cover the soil in my garden bed at the top. Now, why do you want to have your soil covered? Well, it's because the sun can dry it out too much. It can also burn away some healthy soil life. So we want to use a mulch of some kind to cover your soil all the time. So you hear about cover crops, you hear about using mulch, you hear about using shredded leaves. I'm choosing to cover my veg garden soil with some shredded leaves until such time as I plant in it. So it's all ready for me to be able to plant into it. I'm going to be planting into it pretty quickly, actually, around here in my zone on Valentine's Day, February 14th or so, 15th, 16th, something like that. I can put my peas into the ground. So that will be coming up on the trellis pretty soon. And then the rest of the gardens, it depends on what kind of weather we end up getting, but right now our ground is not frozen. So because the arugula is doing pretty well, I'm thinking maybe I could also stretch it a little bit, maybe put some lettuce out under some cloches and see if I can get lettuce growing in February or March. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So again, I was unable to find the footage that I thought I filmed of me cleaning out this second bed, but in here I found some bachelor buttons there down on the bottom right, and then above those are some foxgloves that made it through the winter and are going to be blooming hopefully this year. Also, there's a whole ring of strawberry plants around the stone edge of this middle bed, and I'll be caring for those and hopefully getting some yummy strawberries off of those as well. So I'm eager to see what those foxgloves do this spring. I see buds coming on them, so I know they're going to put on at least a little bit of a show. I'm hoping it's an amazing show. We'll see. Also, the bachelor buttons coming along. I'm excited for those too. I will be planting more things in this garden, and I'm hoping for a wonderful flower year. The strawberries, I'm hoping for a good harvest as well. They need a little bit of love and care, but that'll come in March or so. Okay, and then finally, I took care of the bottom bed as well. Hannah's checking it out for us, make sure there's no rabbits in there. That's her job. So overall, I think all three tiered beds are looking good. They're ready for the spring planting season. Now, I will be, of course, removing some of those leaves if they haven't composted in place. I'll be pulling them off of the soil. I might put them back on to use as a mulch. I don't mind using leaves as a mulch at all. So we'll see about that. But the idea is to keep that soil covered, keep that soil life thriving and happy, not sunburned, not wind scalded. So yeah. So that's the plan. I'm eager to get out here and start really planting and really going in the garden season, but it is still early February, so it's too soon for most of that, but we can all still be dreaming, right? So how are you doing? Do you have your vegetable bed ready for the spring? Do you have other garden cleanup chores to do? I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Tell me what you're doing, and let's share ideas and share information. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again in the near future. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.